Single mom's heartwarming act in the rain reveals an incredible surprise that transforms lives. The storm raged across the sky as Sarah Murray, a hardworking single mom, clocked out of the diner with a long day at her back. Raindrops splattered against her car window, each drop echoing the exhaustion that clung to her bones. She pulled out of the parking lot, her thoughts swirling like the storm outside. Her heart quivered with dreams of opening a bakery, a place where warmth and sugar could create sweet connections. Yet, doubts gripped her. Would the neighborhood even care? As she drove through the streets of her close-knit suburb, lightning lit up her surroundings, illuminating the new house next door. It was Mr. Thompson, an elderly war veteran, struggling with the broken fence in the pouring rain. For a moment, Sarah hesitated, her weariness nearly dragging her back home. But before she could think twice, her heart surged with something like hope and compassion. This wasn't just a fence, it was a lifeline. She parked her car, heart racing as she sprinted through the sheets of rain, offering a warm smile and a steady hand. "Mr. Thompson. Let me help you." His face, weathered by life's storms, cracked into an unexpected grin as they worked side by side, the rain soaking them both. "You're a good woman, Sarah," he said, voice wavering. As they struggled with the broken wood, they began to share stories of resilience, memories from the war, and the laughter that had kept them afloat. But even in that moment of camaraderie, shadows gathered around them. Sarah poured out her doubts about the bakery, the fear of failure gnawing at her insides, while Mr. Thompson revealed his own battle with loss and isolation. Each story was a thread weaving them closer, stitching together their vulnerabilities and hopes. Outside their bubble, the storm of worry raged in the community. Word was spreading developers planned to tear down Sarah's dream bakery to make way for luxury apartments. The local coffee shop, the heart of their social fabric, could become just another fleeting memory. As Sarah rallied her neighbors to stand against this change, she faced skeptical glances and dismissive comments that sliced through her spirit. But just when her confidence began to falter, she learned of Mr. Thompson's quiet efforts. Unknown to many, he had been rallying support and gathering funds from his military brothers. On the night of the fundraiser, while rain hammered down relentlessly, the community came together like never before. They filled the cramped hall, faces radiating purpose, igniting the very essence of belonging. Before the night spiraled into chaos, Sarah took the stage, vulnerability in her voice. But before she could speak her truth, murmurings arose. Tension hung in the air, and the storm inside her raged louder than the one outside. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." As she wrapped up, Sarah's heart raced with the weight of impending decisions. Would they rise to embrace this new chapter, or would old wounds resurface, threatening her dream and their connection? With thoughts swirling like the thunder above, she took a breath, searching the sea of faces eager to support her, yet she couldn't shake the feeling that not everyone was ready for the change. The lights flickered, and she stood poised on the brink of uncertainty, ready to confront a future that loomed large on the horizon. The murmurs in the crowd swirled around Sarah like the storm outside, heavy with expectation and uncertainty. She adjusted the microphone, her fingers trembling slightly. Would she find the right words to ignite the passion they all shared? She cleared her throat, pausing to scan the sea of familiar faces. Old friends, neighbors, and even those who had once dismissed her vision now leaned in, eager for her to speak. "Thank you all for being here tonight," she began, her voice shaking before gathering strength. "This community means everything to me. This isn't just about a bakery, it's about our shared memories, our connections. It's about a place where we can gather, laugh, and escape." The room fell silent, the tension thickening like the heavy clouds outside. She could see Mr. Thompson nodding, a reassuring smile on his face. Somewhere in the back, she spotted Elena, the woman who owned the local coffee shop, her expression a mixture of hope and concern. Sarah felt a sense of urgency welling inside her, pushing her to keep going. Every cake baked, every cup poured, every laugh shared will help mend the cracks that life has handed us. It's about resilience, Sarah continued, feeling heat rise in her cheeks. But as she spoke, doubt nagged at her heart. Was the storm inside her louder than the one outside? What if they didn't believe in her dream? Would they rally together for her vision? A sudden clap of thunder jolted everyone, breaking her rhythm. Sarah paused, her heart racing as the lights flickered once more. The mood shifted, she could hear the whispers again. It seemed like some were still unsure, still skeptical. But then, to her surprise, Mr. Thompson stood up, raising his aging hand to draw attention. "Listen here, everyone," he said, his voice steady and thundering through the hall. "I've been blessed to know Sarah and her passion. I've seen firsthand how this dream ignites the hearts of our children and grandchildren. We can't let it slip away. We fought for far more than just our homes in war. We fought for community. For dreams. And this bakery, she's not just fighting for herself, she's fighting for all of us." A surge of emotion washed over Sarah. Could that be the spark they needed? The crowd erupted into applause, their faces transformed with determination. As the claps echoed against the walls, she felt a new energy electrifying the room. Maybe, just maybe, they were coming together. "I need your help," Sarah called out, her courage newfound as tears stung her eyes. "Join me. Let's fight for our community, for the bakery, for each other." The applause grew even louder. Faces brightened, and for the first time that night, Sarah glimpsed hope instead of uncertainty. They chimed in, voices rising, "We'll stand with you. We'll fight for the bakery." She felt the warmth spread through her heart, intertwining with her fears. But then, just as quickly, shadows flickered back in. What if their resolve shattered when the first argument came? What if the support faded once the rain passed? As the crowd began to chatter excitedly, Sarah's mind raced, her heart still pounding. "I can't do this alone," she whispered under her breath. "We need more than just words." The storm outside began to subside, yet their own tempest loomed large with questions. Stealing one last glance at Mr. Thompson, who beamed with pride, Sarah took a deep breath. This was only the beginning, and the fight for their community was just heating up. Where did they go from here? Sarah needed a plan. Was it time for bold moves? The journey ahead crackled with potential, but she wondered if they truly had what it took to face the challenges looming on the horizon. The next morning, the sunlight peeking through the clouds felt like a promise. Sarah woke early, her mind buzzing with possibilities. She stretched and glanced out the window. The world outside appeared fresh, washed anew by the storm. Maybe this was a sign. She sipped her coffee slowly, contemplating her next steps. The bakery would need more than just passion, it required a solid plan. Meetings. Community events. Fundraisers. A whirlwind of ideas danced in her head, each one more exciting and terrifying than the last. "Elena," she said aloud to herself, picturing her friend from the coffee shop. She had a knack for organizing gatherings. If they could team up, that would be a start. Just then, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Elena. "Can we talk today? I have an idea." Sarah's heart raced at the thought. She replied quickly, arranging to meet at the park later in the afternoon. Excitement mixed with nervousness, was this the push she needed? After a busy morning filled with errands and preparations, she headed to the park. It was buzzing with activity, children laughing, families picnicking, and the scent of blooming flowers hanging in the air. She spotted Elena at a picnic table, her smile infectious. "Hey, I've been thinking," Elena said as Sarah approached. "What if we kick off a community event? A bake sale everyone can contribute. We could turn it into a fair, with music, games, and of course, baked goods. Sarah's eyes widened. That's brilliant. We could gather everyone's favorite recipes. It would draw people in. They spent the afternoon sketching ideas, their voices growing louder with excitement. Each suggestion ignited enthusiasm, breathing life into Sarah's dream. They would host not just a bake sale, but a celebration of their community. As they wrapped up their brainstorming, Sarah felt an unfamiliar sense of hope rising within her. But before she could fully bask in the moment, her excitement dimmed with a worry. They needed funds. Supplies. What if no one stepped up to help? Hey, what if we reach out to local businesses? Elena suggested, pulling Sarah from her thoughts. Like the grocery store. They might donate flour and sugar. Yes. And maybe the flower shop could contribute flowers for decoration. They'd want to be part of something great too. With renewed energy, Sarah and Elena decided to approach Gabriel, the owner of the grocery store. He had always been supportive. What did she have to lose? As they made their way to the store, Sarah felt her heart thump in her chest. Would he believe in their vision too? Would it resonate as deeply with him as it did with Mr. Thompson? When they arrived, the familiar bells tinkled as they walked through the door. Gabriel was behind the counter, sorting through produce. He looked up and smiled, flashing that warm, welcoming grin of his. Sarah. Elena. What brings you in? With every word, Sarah poured out her heart. She explained the community event, her hopes for the bakery, and how they could all work together for a brighter future. Gabriel listened intently, nodding along, his brow furrowing as she unveiled the challenges they faced. After she finished, silence hung in the air. Sarah's heart raced. What if he thought it was foolish? What if he dismissed their dream just like some others had? Finally, Gabriel spoke. Wow, that sounds incredible. I'd love to help. I can donate supplies and put up a flyer. A rush of relief and joy flooded through her. But just as she opened her mouth to express her gratitude, he added, but I have an idea that might help even more. Sarah's brow furrowed with curiosity, heart pounding like a drum. What could Gabriel possibly have up his sleeve? In that moment, a new wave of uncertainty flowed through her. With the stakes growing higher, could they truly count on Gabriel's support? Would this single act of kindness ripple through their community as she hoped? Gabriel leaned back against the counter, his fingers tapping thoughtfully on the wood. Sarah held her breath, anticipation surging. There was something reassuring about Gabriel's calm demeanor, but with every passing second, a knot of anxiety tightened in Sarah's stomach. I'm not just talking about supplies, Gabriel said, his eyes lighting up. What if we turn this bake sale into an entire community festival? I can help secure a local band for entertainment, and maybe even get my cousin who does face painting on board. We can have games, a petting zoo, all the things that bring families together. Elena's eyes sparkled as she exchanged a look with Sarah, who felt as if a candle had burst to life in her heart. Gabriel, that's amazing. But is that possible? I mean, how can we fund something that big? I know a few local businesses that might be interested in sponsoring the event. If we offer to spotlight their contributions in the promotional materials, they might jump on the chance. Wow! Sarah exclaimed, feeling a surge of hope. This could really bring the community together. So, what do you say? Gabriel asked, his expression earnest. Let us bring this vision to life. They spent the next hour hammering out details. Ideas flowed quickly, enthusiasm building like a crescendo. Gabriel passionately described how the festival could spotlight local artists and craftsmen. It wasn't just a bake sale anymore, they were creating an experience. As they finalized their plan, Gabriel's energy was contagious. Sarah could see it, the vision transforming into something tangible. She found herself dreaming bigger, her little bakery in the heart of the community, connecting people in a way she had always wanted, a sense of belonging she yearned for. When they left the store, nearly skipping down the street, Sarah couldn't help but smile at Elena. "Can you believe this is happening?" "I knew it would," Elena laughed, nudging Sarah playfully. "The moment you stepped out of your comfort zone, things started changing." But beneath the laughter, trepidation lingered. What if the community didn't respond? What if they couldn't pull it off? Those lingering doubts crept back as they approached her car. "Hey," Elena said, noticing Sarah's moment of silence. "We've got this. We will figure it out together." Sarah nodded, taking a deep breath. With her friend by her side and Gabriel's support, she felt less alone in the daunting task ahead. The evening settled in, casting warm hues across the sky as they drove to Sarah's home. Her heart still raced from all the possibilities, yet, underneath it all, a haunting thought echoed: would everyone come together like they hoped? As Sarah parked her car and stepped into her house, her phone buzzed again. It was a message from Gabriel: "Let us meet again tomorrow to finalize some ideas, and start reaching out to those businesses." She typed back quickly, her fingers racing over the keyboard. "Can't wait. Let us do this." There was no turning back now. With her heart pounding, she realized that this was just the beginning. Yet, what she didn't anticipate was a mysterious message that awaited her in her inbox. One that could change everything about the festival and her dreams. Would the shocking revelation derail her plans or push her towards something even more incredible? Sarah sank into her couch, the weight of the day still buzzing in her mind. She glanced at her phone again, anticipation pulling at her. What could the message possibly say? She opened her inbox, and her heart dropped. It was from a local non-profit organization that she and Elena had both volunteered for before. The subject line read, "Important update about your application." Sarah's hands trembled as she clicked it open. Her application to receive a grant for community events, submitted weeks ago, felt like a long shot. Hope crinkled under the weight of doubt as she skimmed through the email. But as she read the final lines, a wave of disbelief washed over her. They had chosen her event as a beneficiary of their funding. "Sarah, you okay?" Elena's voice broke through her thoughts, and Sarah looked up, her mouth agape. I got the grant for the festival." Sarah exclaimed, a laugh escaping her lips. Elena's eyes widened. "No way. That's amazing." She rushed over, flinging her arms around Sarah, lifting her off the couch in a whirlwind of excitement. The room sparkled with their fervor, transforming the mundane space into a bubble of sheer joy. "I can't believe it. This changes everything. We can really do this now." As they pulled apart, Sarah's mind raced with possibilities. They could hire a bigger band, expand the face painting, and even offer free activities for kids. Her vision of community blossomed like the flowers of spring after a long winter. But just as quickly as the joy surged, a pang of fear settled in. But what if it's too much pressure? What if things go wrong? "Elena, it's a big step. What if we aren't ready?" Sarah's vulnerability seeped back in. "Hey," Elena said gently, gripping her shoulders, "you're not alone. You've got me, Gabriel, and the whole community behind you. Just think of the smiles we could bring." Taking a deep breath, Sarah let those words sink in. She envisioned families laughing together, children's faces painted with bright colors, and the air alive with laughter and music. Suddenly, Sarah's phone buzzed again. She read the message from Gabriel: "Congrats on the grant. Let us meet and start planning. We can make this the best festival people have ever seen." Each message ignited a fire within Sarah. She felt alive with purpose, with anticipation. "Okay. We're doing this," she declared, her confidence swelling as her insecurities began to fade. "We should start making a list," Elena suggested, already pulling out her notepad. As Sarah scribbled down ideas, she felt energized, the doubt replaced by an innovative spirit. Every word she penned was imbued with possibility, and every idea was a tiny seed of hope. Later that evening, after Elena left, Sarah sat at her kitchen table, alone with her thoughts. The dim lights cast shadows on the walls, but she didn't turn them off. There was something magical in the glow illuminating her journey. She glanced at her message one last time, a smile creeping back. With this grant, they could truly make the festival a foundation for change. All Sarah had to do was harness that hope into action. But as she poured herself into planning, another notification chimed on her phone, this one from an unknown number. Curiously, she opened it to find a single sentence that made her stomach drop. "I know what you're planning, and I think you should stop." Panic gripped her heart. Who was this? Why should she stop? A chill ran down her spine, leaving her grip on the phone tight as she sat frozen in uncertainty. What could this mean for the festival, for her dreams? Would she be able to hold on to the vision she had nurtured, or was this a warning she couldn't ignore? The chill of uncertainty wrapped around Sarah like a heavy blanket. She stared at the message, her heart racing. Thoughts spiraled in her mind. Was someone trying to sabotage her? Could her festival dreams be at risk before they even began? Sarah quickly typed a response but stopped. What if the sender was just trying to scare her? She could almost hear Elena's reassuring voice echoing in her mind. "Remember why you're doing this," it chimed, a reminder of their shared vision for the festival. Taking a deep breath, she set her phone aside and stared out the window, the moonlight cascading over the street. A soft drizzle fell, creating a soothing rhythm on the roof. Maybe it was a sign. Nature was cleansing, washing away fear. She tried to focus on the budding excitement of the festival, the laughter, the joy, the connections they could foster in their community. One shadowy text wouldn't strip her of that. Grabbing her notebook, she resumed her planning, pouring her ideas onto the pages. She scribbled down entertainment options, food vendors, and kid-friendly activities. The blank spaces slowly filled, morphing into something real, something hopeful. Each idea became a small beacon lighting her way through doubt. Suddenly, her phone buzzed again. With a hint of hesitation, Sarah picked it up, half expecting more ominous words. Instead, it was Gabriel. "Can't wait to meet. Let's make this festival unforgettable." His enthusiasm washed away her lingering fears. This was the support she needed. As she texted back, a plan began to gel in her mind. Maybe she could use the call-out as a motivator. This wasn't just about her, it was about the community. If someone was truly concerned or threatened, she'd deal with it head-on. No way was she going to back down now. The next day came, overcast but promising. Sarah met with Gabriel and Elena in the community center, a space filled with memories of laughter and kindness. They gathered around a crowded table, energy buzzing as they laid out ideas. Sarah felt herself opening up, sharing her dreams for the festival. The trio exchanged ideas, their excitement practically sparking in the air around them. As they brainstormed, Gabriel highlighted aspects that would engage residents, like local artisans showcasing their crafts and food trucks offering a taste of different cultures. Elena bounced ideas back and forth, her enthusiasm infectious. Sarah felt a warmth spreading through her chest. This was happening. They were making it happen together. "Let's get the community involved more," Elena suggested, her eyes sparkling. "We can have a section for local talent to perform or showcase their art." Sarah nodded. That was a brilliant idea. They needed the community's voices and talents to fill the festival. But just as they settled deeper into the planning, a glance at her phone pulled her away from the moment. Another message. "We'll see how this unfolds, but trust me, it's for your own good." Fear shot through her again, battling with the excitement she had just harnessed. Who was watching? Who was threatening her dreams? As Sarah exchanged worried glances with her friends, a determination ignited within her. This wouldn't stop her. Nothing would stop her. If she was going to make a mark on the community, she wouldn't let a shadowy figure dictate the course. But as adrenaline surged, a low rumble of thunder echoed in the distance. The storm wasn't just outside, it was brewing inside her too. What would she do next? In that moment, as she stared into her friend's supportive eyes, Sarah faced a decision. She could collaborate and forge ahead, or give in to fear. Would she rise to the challenge or retreat into the unknown darkness? The choice loomed large, and her heart raced with uncertainty. With uncertainty coiling in her stomach, Sarah inhaled deeply. She could feel the electricity of determination buzzing beneath the surface. Not now. Not ever. She wasn't the type to cower, and as each roll of thunder echoed through the room, it mirrored the storm brewing within her heart. There was far too much at stake. "Let us do this," she said, her voice steady yet full of fierce resolve. Elena and Gabriel exchanged concerned glances, but the passion in Sarah's eyes was undeniable. It was time to push forward, to gather the support they so desperately needed for the festival. "What's the plan?" Gabriel asked, leaning in closer, eager to be part of the action. "First, we need to rally the community. Let us host a meeting and invite everyone. I want people to know this festival is for them, by them," Sarah declared. The words tumbled out with an urgency she never felt before. They needed to be united against whatever darkness threatened them. "Sounds great. Let us make it a big event," Elena suggested, her mind already racing ahead. "Get everyone hyped up. We could have a mini kickoff right there. We could even set up a social media page." "Yes. We need to spread the word like wildfire," Sarah responded, a spark lighting her spirit. The idea was growing, expanding far beyond just a festival. It was a movement to bring the community together. They spent hours planning, mapping out flyers, contact lists, and potential venues for their meeting. With each line they wrote, Sarah felt the weight of her fear lift. She was no longer just a solitary figure fighting shadows. This was a collective effort. They were harnessing the energy of their neighbors, and it was exhilarating. As dusk fell and they finished up their planning, the rain intensified outside. Droplets raced down the window, creating a symphony of noise that was at once soothing and urgent. The deep thrum of raindrops lulled Sarah into a sense of peace, a momentary pause in the whirlwind of emotion. "Let us do this tomorrow," Sarah said, surprising even herself with her boldness. "The sooner the better. We need to strike while the iron is hot." "Agreed." Gabriel grinned, his excitement infectious. "If we can get some people on board tonight, we can have a crowd tomorrow." As they packed up, Sarah noticed something. The worries had become secondary, and purpose filled the space inside her, igniting a flicker of hope that surged forward. They left the community center, laughter echoing off the walls, and stepped into the rain. It felt like washing away the shadows, scrubbing them clean from the edges of her mind. Suddenly, her phone buzzed again. Just as dread enveloped her, she saw who it was. It was Elena's cousin, a local artist. "Hey, I have some ideas for the festival. Let us talk." With each message that came through, more names appeared, friends and family eager to help, to create something beautiful. It was exactly what Sarah had been longing for, a sign that everything would be okay. But then, a final message arrived, a jagged twist in the comforting rhythm of connection. "Hope you're ready for what's coming." You have no idea. Chills raced down Sarah's spine. The storm outside had shaken loose more than just the rain, it carried an undercurrent of something foreboding. She glanced at Gabriel and Elena, their faces still lit with the glow of excitement. Would they understand? The community meeting was set, momentum was building, but what awaited them could either solidify their dream or tear it apart. As thunder cracked in the distance, Sarah whispered to herself, "What am I getting into?" And deep down, she realized, this wasn't just about a festival anymore, it was about facing the darker corners of their lives and uncovering what those shadows meant for the future. What could possibly unfold next? The next morning arrived with a somber palette of gray. The rain had finally cleared, leaving shimmering drops on the leaves, but a heaviness lingered in the air. Sarah paced anxiously in her kitchen, coffee brewing while she went over her notes. Her mind was consumed by what lay ahead. At 9 o'clock, as she stood by her window, watching neighbors pass by, she couldn't shake the nagging feeling in the pit of her stomach. Would anyone show up? Would they even understand the vision she had for the festival? Just then, her phone pinged. A message popped up from Elena: "I'm on my way. Can't wait to see you. This is going to be amazing." A small smile tugged at her lips. Elena's excitement was contagious. But Sarah's heart began to race. Before long, the community center was alive with chatter. Families filed in, bringing with them the hopes and dreams of their children, eager to celebrate together. Sarah greeted familiar faces, each smile warming her resolve. As she took her place at the front, it struck her how far they had come. She steadied her breath, her hands clammy and shaky, but as she scanned the room, something transformed within her. "Thank you all for coming," she started, her voice strong and steady. "This festival is not just an event. It's a celebration of our community, a chance for us to come together, to support one another, and to create something beautiful." A smattering of applause erupted, and Sarah's heart soared. She continued to speak, sharing her vision, and soon, hands shot up in the air. Ideas poured out, laughter mingled with spirited discussions, and the fear that had once gripped her began to transform into an electric current of enthusiasm. But as the energy peaked, a chill brushed through her, reminding her of that ominous message from last night. Who was threatening them? Just then, the doors swung open, and a figure stepped inside. It was a man she didn't recognize, yet something about him felt familiar. He stood just outside the entrance, rain droplets clinging to his hair and shoulders, the air around him charged. The room fell quiet. "Excuse me," he called, his voice thick. "I heard about this meeting, and I had to come." After a moment, Sarah gestured for him to join. "Welcome. We're sharing our ideas for the festival." He stepped further inside, glancing around the room as if absorbing the warmth and passion now circulating in the space. "I hope I'm not intruding. My name is Jack. I used to be part of this community, many years ago." Eyes widened, some murmured in recognition. "So you're back?" someone asked. "Sort of," he said, looking pained. I left for reasons I can't completely explain. But hearing about what you're all trying to do brought me back. I want to help." His honesty struck a chord. Sarah sensed a story woven in the fabric of his words, a shared pain that hung like a shadow over his presence. As Jack began to speak more about his past and vision, Sarah found her heart racing not out of fear, but from curiosity. Could he be part of their movement? Was there a reconciliation waiting to unfold, not just for him but for the whole community? But as Jack continued sharing, a sudden realization dawned upon Sarah. What if he wasn't the only one who had a story of leaving and longing? She looked around the room filled with neighbors, friends, and even strangers, and saw their shared experiences reflected in their eyes. Pulse quickening, she realized this meeting might not just be about the festival, it could be about healing the wounds of a community that had endured too much. There in the center of it all, Sarah felt something shift, a collective heartbeat starting to align. She had no idea what Jack's involvement would mean, but the potential was palpable, an unexpected twist in their tale. And just as Sarah opened her mouth to speak again, a loud crash echoed from the back of the room, drawing everyone's gaze and a collective gasp. What had just happened? Their storm was just beginning, and Sarah could feel the winds shifting in ways she never expected. What else lay ahead, hidden in the shadows? The crash sent a jolt of adrenaline through Sarah. Chairs turned, heads whipped around, and whispers rose like the tide. Her heart pounded. Was this the disruption she feared? From her vantage point, Sarah spotted an overturned table at the far end of the room, papers scattered like fallen leaves in a storm. Then she saw a little girl standing next to it, wide-eyed and trembling. "Oh no!" someone gasped. "Is she okay?" Without thinking, Sarah rushed over, her feet carrying her faster than her mind could process. The girl's freckled face turned towards her, eyes glistening with tears. Sarah knelt down, her heart aching at the sight. "Hey, sweetheart, what happened?" "I was trying to help move the table," she cried, her voice breaking. "I thought it would look better over there, but it's all right," Sarah said gently, reaching out to brush a few strands of hair from the girl's wet forehead. "You just wanted to help. Can you tell me your name?" "Lucy," she sniffled, still trembling. "Lucy, you're brave for trying to pitch in," Sarah said, smiling at her. "Let us see what we can do to fix this together." With Lucy at her side, they began to gather the scattered papers. The little girl beamed as she handed Sarah a crumpled flyer, a splash of colorful paint brightening the damp room. This simple act of kindness stirred something deep within Sarah. It suddenly dawned on her, there was resilience hidden within the chaos. As they worked, a few others began to join in to help. Faces that had once been tense began to transform. Laughter bubbled up as more children stepped forward, sharing their ideas for the festival. It was infectious, spreading like wildfire. Jack watched, a soft smile forming on his lips. His presence gave off a warmth that wrapped around Sarah like a cocoon, giving her the courage to rise above the tumult. "Look at how they're coming together," he said, lifting one of the flyers Lucy had gathered. "That's the spirit of this community." Sarah nodded, her spirit lifting as the noise filled the room again. The energy surged in the air, filling the space with purpose. "This is it," she whispered to herself. Momentum was shifting, and the festival was becoming something bigger than herself, a gathering of stories woven together. Suddenly, Lucy, her chubby little hands lifting a flyer like a trophy, shouted, "Let's do a painting booth. I can paint flowers." The room erupted into conversation as ideas clashed and merged, each voice adding to the symphony of renewed hope. Jack chimed in, amplifying Lucy's shout. "Art brings everyone together. Remember when we painted the community mural years ago?" He glanced at a few familiar faces who nodded in remembrance. A voice from the back called out, "We can turn the festival into a showcase. Let us all contribute art, food, and music from our cultures." As excitement electrified the atmosphere, Sarah felt a spark ignite within her. Together, they weren't just planning a festival, they were planning a celebration of their diversity, a coming together of their many threads to weave something beautiful. Just as Sarah felt the warmth of a shared vision envelop her completely, the doors swung open again, and a cold wind swept in. A figure stood in the doorway, silhouetted against the gray sky beyond. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. She squinted, trying to make out the stranger. Panic prickled at the back of her mind. Who could this be? Was this another threat? Or perhaps, could it be someone else's story, accidentally stumbling into theirs? Heart racing, she turned to Jack, who shared her confusion. What could they possibly face next? And just as she prepared to welcome the newcomer, a voice boomed from the back of the crowd. "I hope you're here for the festival. We need all the help we can get." Who was this new arrival, and what would their presence mean for the plans Sarah had just begun to lay in motion? The moment hung in the air, thick with anticipation and uncertainty. The crowd shifted, eyes darting back and forth between the stranger and Sarah, who stood at the center of it all. She felt a rush of hope but also an edge of caution creep up her spine. This wasn't just about her anymore, it felt like a tipping point for the entire community. The newcomer stepped forward, parting the sea of faces. His expression was earnest, a flicker of excitement shining in his eyes. "I heard about your plans and saw the flyers," he said, his voice steady. "My name's Ethan. I used to live here years ago, and I want to help too. I believe in what you're trying to create." Sarah's heart raced as she heard the kindness in his tone. There was something familiar about his spirit that sparked recognition, like a long-lost friend. As he glanced around the room, she saw the collective interest people began nodding, curiosity knitting them together in the moment. "Ethan," Sarah said, feeling the warmth of his presence, "what do you have in mind?" With excitement brewing, Ethan spoke about connecting with local musicians he had come to know. He shared memories of community gatherings from years past and how they fostered deep connections in the neighborhood. If we all bring our talents, it'll be more than just an event, it'll be a celebration of everything we are together, he declared. The crowd buzzed with murmurs of agreement. Heads nodded, and faces lit up with visions of cultural performances and art displays. Sarah's heart swelled. It couldn't be clearer now. This festival was more than just a dream, it was an awakening, a chance to rekindle old ties and forge new ones. Jack stepped forward, a fire igniting in his eyes that matched Sarah's newfound energy. With everyone's contributions, we could create a tapestry of who we are, a festival that reflects this community in its entirety. Fundraising is important, yes, but so is telling our stories. As they talked, connections ignited across the room. Sarah felt a whirl of emotions, joy, relief, and the buzzing electricity of collaboration filled her heart. Each idea voiced became a thread weaving their shared vision into a vivid fabric of culture and creativity. Lucy piped up again, her enthusiasm bubbling over. What if we invite everyone from nearby neighborhoods too? We could have a big parade. Yes. A parade. The crowd echoed, laughter erupting, brainstorming flourished as they volleyed back and forth. Heartfelt stories poured forth, illuminating the room with hopes for the future and a sense of belonging that had long been dormant. Yet, as Sarah reveled in the warmth of support, the memory of the ominous message lingered at the back of her mind. Wait, what if someone is trying to stop us? She blurted out, her breath catching. Do we know who sent that warning? A silence fell over the room, a tension that threatened to break the joyful atmosphere they had just built. But as she gazed into the faces surrounding her, a newfound determination emerged. If community members were willing to come together, pooling talents and stories, they could face any challenge, they could transform fear into unity. Let us not focus on the shadows, Sarah said, her voice steadying. Instead, let us raise our voices up high. This festival is about love, hope, and community. Together, we can shine brighter than any threat. One by one, heads nodded in agreement, determination spreading through the crowd. The collective energy back surged forward, bringing light back into their midst. As the meeting progressed, Sarah felt the camaraderie enveloping her like a blanket on a cool evening. Each person shared their thoughts, contributions flowing freely between neighbors who had previously stood as mere acquaintances. After hours of collaboration, they decided to split into smaller teams. Ethan volunteered to connect with local musicians, while Elena coordinated the children's activities with Lucy leading the way. As the day drew to a close, hope hung thick in the air. The festival wasn't merely an event anymore, it became a collective rallying cry, a testament to their resilience, a canvas where their stories intersected. With hugs exchanged and laughter ringing out, everyone departed that evening with warmth blooming in their chests, spirits ignited. Sarah stood at the center, overwhelmed with emotion. But even as she felt that glow, she couldn't shake the feeling something was still lurking, waiting for the right moment to pounce. Tomorrow would unfold with its own challenges, yet, as she gazed at the door where everyone had exited, she held on to a flicker of belief. Tomorrow would come, but it would also shine bright with possibility, with loud laughter echoing, music flowing, and community rising, a true festival of hope. Her heart was full, and suddenly, amidst the everything, she felt ready. As Sarah turned to leave the community center, her heart flared with fierce hope, knowing this journey was just beginning, not just for her but for everyone around her. The shadows might linger, but they no longer defined them. She was emboldened, not alone, and together, they would carve light into the darkness, continuing their journey toward the festival that could change their lives forever. In that moment of realization, Sarah's phone buzzed with a new message. "We'll see how this unfolds," she read again from the unknown sender, but this time, instead of fear, she felt a steady pulse of defiance surge through her heart. They would face whatever came next, together, as a community. Then, stepping out into the night air, she promised herself, "Bring it on." It was time to rise. Now, before you go, here's what I need you to do. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you won't miss the next exclusive stories filled with transformation and hope. And don't forget to leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Every click counts in supporting these amazing journeys. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. I can't wait to read what you think. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second. Only true fans understand the importance of standing together in this community.